Hey, Frankie, how are you, buddy?
Hi, how are you? Say hello, Peter.
How are you?
You gonna hook us up with some good meat today?
Yes, we are.
All right.
What would you like to do today?
This is what you call a chuck of lamb. You have a couple of different types of lamb chops. You have your shoulder, nice shoulder lamb chops. You have your rib lamb chops and your loin lamb chop. Now, me particularly, I'm not a big fan of shoulder lamb chops because a lot of times I've cooked them, no matter how much I've marinated them, they always seem to be a little chewy. So I go with the #1 stuff, which is either a rib lamb chop that comes from a rack of lamb, okay, you see the rib, or a loin lamb chop. These are the shoulder lamb chops, which I'm not too crazy about, but they're good, right, Peter?
They're very good. They're very good. They're very tender. If you grill them, you broil them. Mostly like, you can stew them and stuff.
Stew them, yeah, like, a nice little can of stewed tomatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can stew them in the oven or you can put them on top of the stove.
Now we're gonna go to the next, which is a rack of lambs. Now I love rib lamb chops, they're my favorite.
I like the bones.
When I was a kid, and I used to tell my mother, tell Daddy, like I used to call it stick meat.
Stick meat.
Tell
yeah.
Daddy to bring home the stick meat. And I'll show you what I mean by that when I cut them. What can you tell me about lamb? I mean, as far as grading and stuff like that.
Well, grading, these are farm fresh lambs. They're grain fed. These are high choice lamb. This is not a regular lamb that you buy in the supermarket or anything.
Right.
These are hand-picked for us.
And you don't want prime lamb because it's too fatty.
Too fatty.
Lamb is fatty to begin with, so you want to stay
You know what
away
it
from
is? There's usually they're graded. Like you have yield 2s, yield 3s, and 4s. We stick with a yield 2, which has just a right amount of fat on it that gives it the flavor. Because the fat is what gives the lamb chops the flavor.
So let's cut this up and I'll show you how you get your rib lamb chop. We're not gonna make a rack, but if you wanted to make the rack of lamb, you would ask the butcher to crack the bone in each chop and you bend it over, you season a little garlic, a little parsley. I'll show you how to do that one day. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the rib lamb chop. I'm gonna cut these into chops. Trim it up. This is like the blade, just take that right off. Take some of this fat off. You don't want it to be too fatty. Shave it right off, like that. See what he was talking about? Lamb could be very wasty. That's why the butchers, it's kind of expensive because see all the waste that's on it? Really can't do much with that. Okay, now also, see the color of the lamb? It's not too dark. If you see the color on the lamb too dark, means it came from a heavy lamb. You want to try to stay away from heavy lamb. You just go along the bone again. Go between each one. Just keep going down along the bone. There's 2 ways you could do this. You could use the saw or the cleaver, okay? You know what? I'm gonna use the saw. You want to trim them up a little bit, take any extra fat off. Now I want to show you one more thing. We're going to bring them over here. We take the little of this off. You hit it here, one shot, and you got a nice rib lamb chop. Stick meat, see? It's like a stick. Then you got the little meat on the end. I used to think it was ice cream. And that's your rib lamb chops. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you some nice loin lamb chops. Remember? Here's the loin. You could do a few things with this. You could kind of take the bone out, semi-bone it out, and season it and roll it and cook it like a roulade with all these seasonings in it. I'm gonna show you how to do that one day. I'm gonna have a little demonstration, a little cooking segment about that. Or you could leave it in chop. A lot of the restaurants, they cook their lamb chops about that thick. The thickness you like. There you go, little baby loin lamb chop. Cook that with a little garlic, a little parsley, a little nice wine, red wine or white, whatever you like. and it's gonna make it real nice. You broil it, Madon, forget about it. Loin lamb chops, rib lamb chops, shoulder lamb chops, any kind of lamb chops, they're all nice, except for the shoulder. But if you want to do that, you can. Make them more like a stew with the shoulder. For Frankie the Butcher, Italian American Network, and Vincent's Meat Market, ciao.